Hey everybody, this is the YouTube channel Clad with Zeal. This is Brother Milan, and I wanted to share with something a little nugget that I actually had put two and two together as far as the Bible is concerned. There's a lot of cool things in the Bible that maybe on surface don't really have any sort of meaning, but God, puts things in there for a reason, and I feel like I found something that was actually pretty precious to me, and actually I had questions on in the past. So just during my regular Bible reading, and actually this is something I talked about, this was actually one of the verses I started with for one of my sermons, which was same God, next prophet, and this kind of puzzled me, and today Brother Bruce Mejia had shed some light on this particular phrase in the Bible, and I wanted to go over that real quick with you. So if you jump over to chapter number 34 of Deuteronomy, and this is the last chapter before Joshua, and it says in verse number 7, "And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated." Now, just looking at that, I didn't really see the spiritual application at first. I just kind of glanced past it, and it kind of stuck with me, and I was like, well, what does that mean that his eye was not dimmed, or his natural force abated? So today during the sermon, so keep this in mind actually, because, First Samuel, I just lost my place. During the sermon, he went and talked about, I believe it was First Samuel chapter number, either 4 or 5. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, it was chapter number 3. So at the beginning of chapter number 3, it says, And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli. And the word of the Lord was precious in those days. There was no open vision. And it came to pass at that time when Eli was laid down in his place, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. So on a spiritual application, this really helped shed light for the previous passage. Obviously, Moses, walked with God and did as the Lord commanded, and he was obviously very successful doing what God told him to do, leading the children of Israel. Now we see here a different type of character. Obviously, I believe that Eli was saved. Now, Samuel basically was being told of the Lord in this chapter, and you can hear him later on explaining, and the Lord called yet again to Samuel, and Samuel arose and went to Eli. So you can see how Eli wasn't able to hear the word of God, wasn't able to receive any of that information from God. So this just kind of shed some light on the eyes dimming, because it explains right here, and it says, and his eyes began to wax dim, that he could not see. And obviously physically, that's going to happen with old age, but I think spiritually that was application that was being mentioned here in Deuteronomy chapter number 34. Notice here it says natural force abated. And he died, nor his natural force abated. Natural force is just that strength that a man should have, and he retained that even unto old age. He was 120 years old. That's a fairly long life to live, and he still had a lot of strength behind him, and he was still able to hear the word of the Lord, and receive new teachings from God, and he continued to do that until the day that he died. Obviously, it's a complete contrast to what Eli did, but I just saw that cool little nugget in the Bible, and I just thought that was very interesting. I just wanted to share that with everybody. So I hope that was a blessing for you, and remember, stay clad with zeal.